For today's very, very wet ride, we're meeting up with Andy, Mark and Vicky. Did 21.1 miles, 5 hours, 24 minutes, 2,800 feet of climbing, an average speed of 3.9 miles an hour. So why did it take 5 hours, 24 minutes? Well, there was a lot of bad weather and some really major mechanical failures. Of course, the weather never comes out on GoPro either, but it's boring, and the forecast is for it to get significantly worse. Mark there, Vicky, and Andy's getting my guard up for this one. It's gonna be wet.
It's time.
Yeah.
It's time. I've held it off for too long.
Trust me. If ever the weather was gonna throw my guard, this is gonna hit it.
This is it.
Yeah.
Let's have a good one.
We like to see a bit of a mud guard awesomeness.
Here we have the southern softies putting on more layers.
In these dismal conditions, but we're gonna have fun. I think it's about an 18 miler today. Woo.
And I promise I will always give you the sweetest parts of me. 'Cause you're the tip to my
Up to the right, boys and girls.
morning. You're my up to my down and the king of my crown. And
I could tell Andy was absolutely in his element, riding really fast in some very slippery conditions. It's actually quite sketchy. Straight across, presumably. Straight across, presumably.
Yes.
Thanks to Andy, boots on the ground, for navigating this one. It was a really cool and interesting GPX loop. This really was an incredibly wet ride. We did our best to keep the motors dry, but it was pretty much impossible. Andy's right in his element here.
And I will be a smoke, oh, if you my cigarette. And I will be a sunshine if you'll be my
£200 with Jeremy Beadle. I did it.
Can't wait to get you all alone. 'Cause you're the tip to my top, the key to my lock, and my breakfast in the morning. You're my up to my down and the king of my crown. And you're everything I want, you got that sweet, sweet honey. And I want it sweet, sweet honey. You got that sweet, sweet, sweet honey. And I want it sweet, sweet, sweet honey.
Oh my word!
I get that little adrenaline rush every time it does that. You think you're coming up and you keep... I thought I was coming off there when I lost my pedal.
Yeah, shit. So I think this is probably the coldest and the wettest ride I've ever done. But I've got to say, these dirt ledge onesies are legendary. They do a little uphill challenge. A quick energy snack at the top of the hill, and we're going to be ready to go.
Falling asleep.
A real mixture of trails on this one, but one thing in common, they've all got varying degrees of standing water and are slippery.
And I've told you.
Johnny, it's flying.
This is the spot where I reached 36 miles an hour, which, considering how slippery it was pretty fast.
Well, I know you, at least I do wrong.
Ooh, slap me in the face.
Is it just me? Do you feel something?
Flying. Did that fir tree smack you in the face? It got me right in the face.
There's things I'm not doing because it's so wet and slippery. Like I would. We're trying to keep the motors dry, but it's just impossible. There are so many big puddles and so much standing water.
Oh no, not the high bike error.
I've never had one, ever.
Come here. It's not.
I thought I can't go 51 miles an hour.
It's not good news.
I've never had an error on it, ever.
This is what I got when I was in the lakes. It's the Lake District doom again.
Biggest bike is throwing arrows, which is never a good sign in the wet. It's often a sign of water ingress.
I felt a bit under pressure.
Feel it, can you feel it? Turn it up until they all hear the beat. Spotlight, this is our night. Let the rhythm take a hold of your feet. Tonight we're gone.
Bloody hell!
Like you never seen before. Get crazy, make it more and more. Tonight we're gonna dance. Leave it on the floor. It's what we are.
Did I say we were trying to keep the motors dry? Well, we were trying, but this path has turned to a stream.
Unforgettable, this electric feel. Golden, this emotion. Baby, it's a high nobody can steal. Tonight.
So this path stream pretty much was the end of Vicky's bike. It completely died at this point.
Get crazy, make it more and more. Tonight we're gonna dance.
Mark still going there. My motor is still going. Unfortunately, Vicky's has died and she's had to head back via the road on the pedal power. We've got about another 8 miles to do, and well, it's wet to say the least, isn't it, Mark?
It is.
Shit, that's deep. Well, you could ride for it, but you want to be near the edge, I think. It looks about...
Or we just hike about and walk through it. My feet are wet anyway. If your motor gets wet, you screw on.
You're alright, at the edge, slowly. The last time I did a ride with this wet, my motor started throwing codes, and shortly after that it was the end of the motor. I'm pretty sure I should have listened to Andy's advice and actually carried my bike through that puddle, because things are about to go really bad.
Unfortunately, we may be down to 2. We've got another iBike with some issues now. A few problems with water. It's going to be water ingress with the motor, no doubt. It's that wet today, it's ridiculously wet. Smile, Big T. You got your suntan lotion on.
So it happened. I said the last time I was out on a ride, this wet killed my motor. Number 2 motor's gone. I'm out of warranty. Absolutely gutted. End of my weekend. Yeah. Yeah, might as well.
There's Big T. His bike is conked out and we all know that pain. Having to push up, and we've got another 2,500 feet to climb. So we have been giving him a push all the way up in turbo to help him, and on these little not so steep sections we'll save some battery, and we'll give him an hand as we get further up.
This was definitely my lowest point in my mountain biking. Just as I thought I was going to get to roll and do a bit of downhill, I got a puncture that wasn't fixable.
Yeah, he's got no air in it. He's on a flat tyre, but I think he's...
So I had over 5 miles to get back, and it was not a lot of fun trying to ride with no motor through bogs and puddles and water and a flat tyre too. Boggy section just went on, and I so wanted it to be over and just get to a road. I've cut most of it out, but boy, this was a real low spot. So in my book, this was one hell of an adventure. Nobody got hurt. It was miserable, and I was very, very wet, but made it back to the road, back to the car, and home. So I just want to say, despite all the doom and gloom, I did actually really enjoy this ride, and a huge thanks to Mark and Andy for their help and guidance in getting me back. Right after this ride, I stripped the motor, and as you can see, I'm still hopeful with a little warmth and love, and it will be going again. Subscribe to check out my next video and see if I manage to fix it.